Hello viewers, today we'll be looking at Introduction to Geography, Part 3. Here are the themes we'll be working on. Number 1, we have the Earth and the solar system. Number 2, we have here the environment and its resources. Number 3, we have regional geography of Nigeria. And number 4, we have economic and human geography, and finally, number 5, we have introduction to geographic information system. That's the GIS. And to take note, these themes are all in accordance with the NECO curriculum. Geography as a discipline itself helps us to understand our immediate environment, as well as the problems associated with it. So to solve these problems, we need to have an in-depth understanding of the environment before we begin to provide solutions to solving these problems. Apart from that also, geography as a discipline helps us to understand the ways of lives of others as well as ours, their cultures, and other things pertaining to people from different tribes and countries, and even within a particular country, geography can also help us understand the culture, the tradition of others within the same country. Geography also helps us to understand the abundance of resources we have within the earth and how to harness these resources for use or for the benefit of mankind. Geography also helps us in understanding what goes on beneath the earth. We are living on the surface of the earth now. What goes on beneath, within the crust and beyond. We can understand all these things through the study of geography. Now, geography has so many job prospects or careers which one could delve into as a result of an in-depth understanding of this discipline called geography. To start with, geography can prepare one for career, research career, and lecturing career. Geography can also help in the study of hydrology. This has to do with the study of the distribution, the occurrence, the movement, and the chemistry of water, both the surface and the groundwater. And with geography, one could have a career or make a career in the planning of towns. That's what we call urban and regional planning. One could also delve into careers like transport management. We also have careers like GIS, which is the Geographic Information System, which is becoming so rampant today and whose relevance cannot be overemphasized. One with geography knowledge or understanding can also find a career in cartography. Cartographers are people who make or design or draw maps. Apart from these, careers in environmental studies, environmental impact analysis can also be available for a geography graduate or a geography individual with an individual with geography knowledge. And finally, an individual with an understanding of the principle or the discipline called geography can also find a career in a town planning and transport management. These and many more are areas in which you can delve into to end a career with geography. Now, based on the themes that were listed here, we'll consider them one after the other. Number one, we talked about the Earth and the solar system. Now, in our previous lecture series, that's in part 1, we talked about the Earth and the solar system in one dimension. And now, in this part of the lecture series, we will consider the Earth and the solar system in yet another dimension. Now, under this topic, under this theme, we have the Earth's internal process. The Earth's internal process. This is what we'll be looking at when we talk about the Earth and the solar system now. Now, under the Earth and its internal processes, we are going to be studying 1. Earthquakes. 2. We'll look at volcanicity. As we progress, we will see other subtopics. So let us start with earthquakes. Now, what do we understand by earthquake? Earthquake is a violent tremor in the Earth's crust, which sends out vibrating waves in different directions. And when this happens, there is destruction of lives and properties. Many factors are responsible for the occurrences of earthquakes. So let's consider causes of earthquake. Earthquakes occur as a result of disturbances or what we call movements within and below the Earth's crust, especially in areas where we have faults or fractures. They are so prone to movement. And what do we mean by fault and fracture? This is just a breakage. So an area with such breakage, when there is a sudden movement or disturbance, would tend to move faster than areas that were not initially that did not have an initial point of breakage or discontinuity. So in such areas, when there is a disturbance or when there are disturbances, there is bound to be movement, and when this occurs, it leads to earthquake. Now, the intensity of any earthquake depends on the following. 1, the amount of crustal displacement. When we talk about crustal displacement, we are talking about the blocks that have experienced these faulting activities. So the amount of it also determines the intensity of the earthquake, because if we have a large number of it and have a very significant breakage or crack within the earth crust, there is bound to be significant amount of earthquake also, or intensity of earthquake. And 2, we have the size of the rock mass involved in the displacement. These are all responsible for the intensity of any given earthquake. Now, seismograph is an instrument used to measure the intensity of earthquake. Now, let's look at measurement of earthquakes. A man called C.F. Richter was the first person who devised a scale for the measuring of the power of an earthquake, and this was in 1935. The scale which he devised was named after him, and that's what we call the Richter scale. On this scale, we can know an earthquake, whether it is minor, whether it is major, whether it's moderate or severe, based on where it falls within the Richter scale. And the scale is graded from 0 to 9. And on this scale, earthquakes measuring from 0 to 4 are referred to as minor earthquakes. And those which measure from 4 to 7 are regarded as moderate earthquakes, whereas those that measure from 7 and above are called major or severe earthquakes. Now, this chart here is the Richter scale. You can see the Richter magnitude. You also see the resultant effect of earthquake. So that means an earthquake from 0 to 2, the effect will not be felt by people. And if you go further, an earthquake occurring and measuring on the Richter scale with magnitude from 2 to 3 will have an effect that we say it is felt little by people. That's the effect, the resultant effect of such magnitude of earthquake. Now, when we have an earthquake measuring 3 to 4, you're going to see things like ceiling lights swing. That's the kind of effect you experience when earthquake of such magnitude occurs. And another one here, we have 4 to 5. You're going to see wall cracks. When you see wall cracks, that's an indication of an effect of an earthquake with that range or that magnitude, 4 to 5. Now, let me chip in this now. It is not all wall cracks that may be as a result of earthquake. There are other